Hi again. A few housekeeping stuff before we start with the ceremony. Please make sure you're on mute. We have left the chat open and would like to ask you to share any remarks, but please be respectful of the chat environment and avoid private conversations. The ceremony is divided into two sections. The first section includes remarks from Dr. Rabinowitz, Mohammad and Zeynab's parents, Professor Santa Ono, Dr. Tetzlaff, and Dr. Gillespie. We will then have a short break and continue with an explanation of Mohammad and Zeynab's charity, remarks from Dr. Frank, Dr. Greenhill, and Mohit, who is a friend of Mohammad's. And we will finish with Mohammad's TED Talk. At the end of the first section, after the break, we will ask you to turn your cameras on if you would like, and we would take a group photo. I am honored to be the host for this commemoration. I thank the guests currently with us and the attendants on Zoom. To the highly respected guests and audience, please bear with me as this might be a long one. Please excuse my emotional tone as it all comes from the depth of a broken heart. I am Mohammad and Zeynab's cousin, although the word cousin is very strange to me, as we grew up as siblings. We were sailing on the same boat since our childhood. Along the way, if I wanted brotherly advice, Mohammad was there to guide me. And if I hit a rough patch, Zeynab was my rock to rely on. Although Mohammad and Zeynab are not physically here with me, I see them as my guiding stars, navigating me through the journey of life. For our first speaker, I'm going to ask Dr. Rabinowitz to share his remarks. He's a clinical associate professor at UBC, cardiologist at St. Paul Hospital, and co-founder and chief medical officer at PHEMI Systems. Dr. Rabinowitz and Mohammad shared passionate conversations about technology innovation for transforming health systems. I read a sentence by Dr. Rabinowitz about Mohammad in their biography. The world, I believe, has lost a potential game changer. But I know there are many in Mohammad's multiple circles who will redouble efforts to honor his legacy. Now I invite you to pay attention to Dr. Rabinowitz's remarks in this ceremony. Dr. Rabinowitz, please go ahead.
Thank you very much. I'm greatly honored to have been asked to briefly share my reflections on this day marking the anniversary of the tragic loss of Zeynab and Mohammad. The schedule is very full, and I've been asked to keep my comments brief. I had the privilege of meeting Zeynab only very fleetingly on one occasion. This was in a UBC cafeteria where she was surrounded by several friends. This was very fitting, as I'm told that she was a very kind person with a fabulous sense of humor. I understood from Mohammad also that she was very smart and very ambitious. I first met Mohammad in June 2017 at an Institute for Health Improvement Symposium at UBC, where I was delivering a presentation on big data and healthcare for the greater good. Mohammad and I immediately discovered a shared passion for entrepreneurship and technology-driven innovation in transforming health systems, discovery science, and creating models of care within the context of global citizenship and universal healthcare. It was very clear to me that he was guided by a higher cause. Mohammad had an exceptionally brilliant mind, and this is evidenced by his multiple scholastic accomplishments and accolades. What has never ceased to amaze me beyond this, however, was the sophistication and maturity of thinking, his drive, his generosity of spirit and compassion, his love for humankind, and an unwavering commitment to the global good. Global is as in the world at large, and global as in equity within resource-constrained environments locally. He was remarkably adept at navigating and embracing complexity and multidimensionality, representing, for example, systems biology and systems thinking, which in many ways reflects the gamut of talent and experience represented by his parents, Mohsen and Zara. All these qualities were matched by his exceptional execution and leadership skills, as we've heard. For all these reasons, he had either initiated or had a remarkable impact on projects involving his peers, but also professionals far more senior and experienced than him. It was these qualities that provided him access to very senior decision makers, be it university presidents, government officials or leaders in private sector. And these same qualities allowed him to narrow the gap between these people in leadership and the grassroots. Although Mohammad would frequently express appreciation to me for what he would call mentorship and inspiration, I would often tell him that it was exactly those gifts that I felt I was receiving from him. On reflection, the lives of Mohammad and Zeynab were taken 2 days before the world was overwhelmed by the COVID pandemic. COVID has cast a spotlight on the deep fault lines in our world. When I look at photographs and the videos shared now of Mohammad and Zeynab, I'm not only inspired, but also energized. In a world of far too much darkness, polarization, hate, and dis-ease, they were unstoppable forces of good, coupled with extraordinary talent and creativity. The opportunity before us is to harness their energy. The challenge for this UBC, Canadian, and global community is to channel their energy for positive good. And finally, I'd like to say that it is a remarkable tribute to two exceptionally talented and accomplished parents, Mohsen and Zara, that they were able to raise such exceptional and beautiful children. And my heart goes out to you on this day of what must be unspeakable pain. May the memories of Zeynab and Mohammad be for a blessing.
Thank you, Dr. Rabinowitz, for accepting to join us in this year's commemoration. During my conversations